What's up, guys and gals? I'm your host, Mike Pugh of the FPC Virtual Channel, and you're tuning into a Blender series slash Wakaru slash multiple things that I'm trying to do. Thanks a lot for showing up. This is a live stream, by the way, and I hope that my computer doesn't freeze, which has been freezing, and that's the reason why I haven't been able to launch many videos or live streams or any of it. So hopefully I can get a new computer, by the way. But what we on right now, we're on Blender. This is Blender version 2.8. It's the Alpha 2 release. And I'm just showing this as more of like a progress of my learning that's going on Blender. And I've learned a lot in only 2.5 months to 3 months. So it's about 3 months I've been using Blender so far. And I'm really getting somewhere using tutorials actually on YouTube. So people on YouTube have been helping me. This is an actual character rig from Mixamo and I utilized the rig in order to start learning how to do basic animations using character rigging and things of that nature. So this video is not actually about that, but I just wanted to show y'all folks a little update on my Blender experience. And the reason why I'm talking about that is because I haven't really put up much Blender videos, and I don't think I am professed enough and knowledgeable enough to put up full-fledged Blender videos, and definitely not about Blender 2.8 at this moment. But I will try to help y'all folks who want to learn how to use Wakaru, which I already put up a video on that. I actually put up about 2 or 3 videos on parts of Wakaru, what Wakaru is. I threw out an introduction, and let's see if I can throw it up over here. I should have had it up, but it's all good. This is live, so I'm gonna throw up the documentation real quick for those who haven't got into the documentation yet of Wakaru. And what is Wakaru? It's basically a webcam controlled type of a tool. You can find it on the Steam engine through Steam community dot, let's see, it should be dot, let's see, store.steampowered.com. So you can go to store.steampowered.com, or you can type in Steam onto Google and find it. It should be like the first search result that comes up on Google, because it's pretty well known around the planet. If you never got Steam, it's highly recommended for y'all folks to go and try it out. Now, when you get here, just type in Wakaru into the search, and that will get you to this tool that I was able to utilize and to play around with. And the reason why I like to talk about this one and why I want to gear people into trying it out is more because of the fact that it has an unlimited possibility, capability, and unlimited potential in terms of you being able to utilize it for your own 3D modeling designs if you're into 3D modeling. And even if you're not into 3D modeling, it could help you and more encourage you to get into it. Just like Face Rig. If y'all folks never heard of Face Rig, let me type in Face Rig real quick. You should have heard of it by now and maybe tried it out and used it. I don't know if y'all folks have used it already before, but Face Rig is pretty dope. They have a mobile app as well as a desktop application that's built in through Steam. And I don't know if the mobile app is built in through Steam as well, but I know they have a mobile app on the Google Play Store and the iTunes Apple Store. So it would behoove you to try it out and test it out and see if it works for you, if you can actually utilize it as a VTuber. VTuber basically is a person who is utilizing a webcam controller or some sort of a controller that they can actually jump into the screen, literally leap into the screen where they control the character. When I say leap into the screen, that means that your data of your face is being captured by a webcam, and that data is being placed into the screen to control some web-based controls or some sort of a digital controls, maybe shape keys or things of that nature, which is basically like a 3D modeling terminology. So if it's shape keys, it can control the facial shapes and expressions, or it could be a character rig where the face is rigged and it controls some of the character rigging, or maybe it's just poses that was pre-implemented, which that's how Face Rig works. It's more of an armature controlled face structure through animations, and the facial structures are pre-posed, and then the animations are built into the actual software through a programmer or more like a 3D artist who chooses to build it in, and then they incorporate and import those files into the Face Rig tool, and then the face rig tool detects the presence of all those differing more poses, animation poses. And that's a little the difference between face rig and Wakaru. Face rig has those kind of animation pose settings that are required. We'll go back to Wakaru, and how Wakaru is set up is more about shape keys. So if you know about 3D animation, you know about 3D modeling, if you have any knowledge of it, then you know what a shape key is. It's also known as a morph. And then they have this thing called MMD, which is a spin-off from anime. So Japanese animation or Japanimation has inspired 3D artists to create something known as MMD. So if you go onto Google, you can look up MMD. If you understand how MMD works and you are into 3D modeling as a 3D artist or whatever, you can go and you can create MMD models from scratch, or you can borrow MMD models from people who already created them. And then you can incorporate that stuff into Wakaru. All of it is based on utilizing the basics to 3D modeling, but also to utilize what is known as the PMX Editor, which I can show y'all folks that along the lines of this video session. This more of a series that I've started to try to build up. And the reason why I'm doing a live session, I'm trying to get people and gear people into it in a live format so I can get some feedback and get to see what y'all folks are interested in trying to learn or interested in trying to do. I was able to create the pipeline for differing tools through Blender. And the tools that I found before I got into Blender, which is known, one of the tools that I got into was known as MakeHuman. So I'm not going to present that part on the screen yet. I just want y'all folks to try to catch up to a little bit of what Wakaru is all about. It's based on the Miku Miku dance community, or MMD. So if you look at my last previous video on Wakaru, or one of my actual first video that I put out on Wakaru, it gives an introduction to that kind of part of the whole community side, where Wakaru was built for the MMD community. And the reason why I say that is because it only has one character. When you start out, there's only one character. So whoever created it, they were pretty smart in knowing that a community of people out there can actually utilize this tool. So they designed this tool so you can create your own characters. Because as it's set the way it is, this character known as Alicia, you can't actually use her for commercial purposes. So they set up Wakaru with one character and opened up the playing field for anybody in the 3D world, in the 3D arena. 3D artists slash 3D modelers slash graphic designers, whoever wants, even the average person can jump into this thing head first, learn a little bit about Blender, learn a little bit about these other third-party tools, and customize their own characters and get their characters running using the tool. So it almost resembles what is known as mocap. So it's very similar to motion capture tools. The difference is that you're just using your webcam, which mocap is also designed for webcams. But with webcam mocap, you're going to have higher level sensors, which is like utilizing more to the lines of a Connect, like a Microsoft Connect, through using Xbox. So the Xbox 360 Connect, or more like the Xbox One Connect. So if you have those kind of tools, the Connect has the higher level sensors. So that's the difference between using something like Wakaru and a mocap. Wakaru, you don't need those higher level sensors. So it doesn't have, those types of sensors that can actually detect your whole body, your whole physical body. Instead, it's just a regular webcam that maybe has a HD power, more like a 1080p HD, where it can sense your face. And it's just basically sensing the basic movements of your face and the basic structure of your face. And how the developers came out with Wakaru, whatever tools that they use through Unity, they actually using Unity to create the tool for Wakaru. And then they pipeline it through Steam. So now when you're on Steam, you can actually get the Wakaru tool. But without Unity, it wouldn't be possible for it to be placed onto Steam. So these kind of things you got to understand and got to know in order to, commit to doing this whole entire more of like a 3D project that you're going to get into doing, which is to create your own 3D avatar slash Wakaru characters from scratch, or to utilize other people's characters that they built up for you. So this is the kind of thing that I wanted to cover, just to gear y'all folks into it to understand it a little bit more. Now it says right here, Wakaru is an easy to use VTuber tool. All you need is just a webcam. And that is 100% true, because when you first get onto Wakaru, that one character, Alicia, which you see right here, that one character, you can use it just with your webcam without having any 3D knowledge or background at all. But the limitation is that that's all you get is her. So it would be dope if they was to provide multiple characters, maybe a good 3 to 5 characters as samples. But I think they're trying to encourage more and more people from the MMD community to try it out. So let me go to the MMD community so y'all folks can check what that is all about. I already provided an intro about it, but this will give you a little bit more of a bird's eye view as to what Miko Miko Dance is about. MMD. So Miko Miko Dance, prior to me getting into this actual Wakaru tool, I had no knowledge of the Miko Miko Dance community. So I had no understanding and knowledge of Blender besides the basic, 3D navigations of Blender. So I understood how to navigate the tool, which most 3D tools you can navigate the same way. The only difference is with Blender, I didn't understand how to left click and right click, and what was the controls to how to change the left click control to the right click control, that kind of thing. So when you get into Blender, if you never use Blender, you may have some stumbling blocks to get through to understand the interface, because the user interface is pretty extravagant, and it has a lot of options, and it can confuse you. Now if you're getting into Miko Miko Dance, you don't need necessarily to get into the MMD software, which allows you to create dancers, not just dancers, but allows you to activate the dance models that you can create. So these are dance models, Miko Miko dance models, and this is just basically giving you an idea of how they look. So you would come up with a model design, and this would be, let's see, let's get to this image here. I don't know where that image is coming from, but all these images that you're seeing here is actually, this is the PMX editor. So this is how the PMX editor looks. Let me back that out. And the PMX editor is actually where you can design the models. The MMD software itself is where you implement the dance moves that the models can perform. So that's basically, in a nutshell, the whole gist of it. You use what is known as the PMX editor. The PMX editor does all the 3D modeling for you. So if you have a pre-existing 3D model, you can import it onto MMD. Maybe you would have to, or import it onto the PMX editor, and then eventually export it from the PMX editor to the MMD software. And then from the MMD software, you can create videos that output onto YouTube or whatever. So that's that pipeline. If you wanted to do all that kind of stuff, that's up to you. But in order to create a Wakaru character, all you need is this PMX editor. And this is basically how it looks. I'm not running the software myself on my computer because I don't want y'all folks to experience a crash. So far, my live is running and it should be good. Let me detect and see if it's up. It says live stream health is good. So my live stream is still up and running. As long as it's running, I can keep on going with this thing and help y'all folks to learn a little bit about the background of how this stuff works. Now with the PMX editor, you want to go and dig onto Google and try to find out the English version translation. So you want to try to find it yourself if you can. You could also use the video description area that I have here. In my previous video I think I provided it. If I didn't, I'll try to find the download again and provide that in the video description area after this live stream is done. So y'all folks can get this PMX editor. It's really something that's important if you want to create your own customized characters, or maybe you created your own 3D models and you have an archive of them and you want to start to gear them to get animated onto Wakaru, or you want to gear them to create the pipeline so you can animate them with your webcam on Wakaru. If you want to do that, it would behoove you to get that tool. That's one of the tools that you really need. You want to get Unity as well. So Unity, let's go and type in Unity, back out of here. Now that you understand a little bit about Miku Dance, basically type into Google or into YouTube MMD, and you'll find tons of videos that showcase what it's about. You can also go to this learnmmd.com, and that helps you to learn how to gear yourself into building the models and all that stuff. This is the Miku Dance software itself. This is just an image of it. Hold on one second, see if I can bring it up. So a nice image of it. I tried out the software. I'm not into it, so I'm not really going to be putting up videos about Miku Dance itself. But this is how it looks, and for some reason I can't get the image to come up. But yeah, when you get into the software, you'll see it's pretty user friendly. It's not that hard to implement animations on it and to learn how to utilize it. It just takes some time to build up all of the knowledge base, just like any other tool. Everything takes time, so don't rush into anything. You want to do background research. You want to watch tons of YouTube videos and find people out there who are proficient in this arena, in the area of utilizing tools or performing with the tools that you see fit to learn. So excuse me, let me type into Google Unity, and the first thing that should pop up besides an actual dictionary definition is Unity 3D. So this is what you want to try to understand when you first get in to try to perform your pipeline for Wakaru. You want to understand Unity to some degree, so you want to get into the basics of Unity. It doesn't take that much knowledge to understand. You just got to understand the viewport interface, stuff like that. Once you get into that, it's very simple to actually commit to the Wakaru documentation, because Wakaru has the documentation. You can click these three tiny lines up in the upper left corner. It's at whakairo.iocoda.com. You can get to this also through the Steam store. I believe it's somewhere in the Steam store over here to the right. You just look where it says visit website, visit the manual for that actual Wakaru version beta tool. So you go down, you find the visit the website. When you click on it, it's going to show you this notice you are leaving Steam or whatever. Just click on continue to external site. When you get there, you'll see you got the option. This is the Wakaru website. It tells you about the updates, all this stuff. None of this is really going to help you that much. You can read the details, but you're probably not going to understand what all this stuff means. I know what all this stuff means after the 2 months of doing my learning process and building up the knowledge base, but it took me some time to figure out why they wrote all this stuff. So, because I had no knowledge of it beforehand, and I didn't understand Blender that much. So, let's see. We're going to click these three dashes over here on the left, and then we're going to go to what it says, the how to import MMD models. So you go there, and right here it has the terms of use for third-party models. So basically, if you're not creating your own models from scratch, you're just trying to, start out, you're not a 3D modeler, you don't understand 3D art, you're not into graphic design, you have none of that stuff, but you want to use this, you can use it. Just read the terms so you can understand the rules. Now, you can also get into learning about MMD. Like I said, you go through the MMD model, they have a forum on DeviantArt for MMD. Once you do your research and you start finding more and more documentation, you're going to run into tons of free 3D models that are offered up by the MMD community through DeviantArt. So once you get into that, you'll start to see that they created tons of models. A lot of people are offering them up for free, and you can try them out and you can use them. But they have basic terms, legal terms, that's tied to each model because they're owned by a different creator, by somebody else. A 3D artist came up with them, took a lot of time, tons of hours, maybe even took a month to 3 months. I don't know how long it took for them to create their models, but they created their models, so they have all the rights to it. So you have to understand the legal part, and you don't want to go and step on anybody's toes to get yourself screwed up. So that's where the terms come in. So these legal terms, also when you have created your own model, you can apply legal terms to your models. So that's the cool part about MMD, and also about utilizing tools like Wakaru. They have respects built into it, so they respect the legal rights of other people. and everyone has their legal rights, their intellectual property rights when they create something. Whenever you launch something on the web, on the internet, you have the legal rights to it if you created it from scratch. So that's how it works. If you're using someone else's stuff, you want to give them credit, but you definitely want to check to make sure they provided permissions. If they don't provide permissions and it's 100% copyright on it, all rights reserved, don't use it unless you're doing what is known as fair use. And that's going to be part of my YouTube copyright series that I'm going to be offering up eventually. Some people don't understand how copyright works, so they may not be able to utilize certain copywritten stuff out there that's in the world or online or whatever. So I just wanted to get that out of the way real quick. Just don't use stuff if there's no permissions and you don't have the rights to use it, or else you're going to end up getting caught into a legal battle in the future if you make a lot of money off of it and stuff. Even if you don't make any money, you'll get caught up or get your videos knocked down by getting copyright strikes. If you already haven't got any, or if you already got some, then you'll know. If you haven't got any, then you won't know, and eventually you'll be scared out of your wits trying to figure out why I got a strike and what should I do. You don't want to have all those things happen to your YouTube channel or to your experience online or anything. So you want to respect the rules, and you definitely want to learn from everywhere that you can possibly learn what not to do. So other than that, that's that part. The import custom models. Now when you're importing custom models, like I was saying, you want to read all this stuff. So you want to start to learn what it's saying, what it's trying to say to you. Over here it says, for now, we just support importing FMX. But that actually is probably a misspelling because it's PMX and PMD. So don't worry about that part. Just change the F to P. So what is PMX? PMX, like I said, is part of the PMX Editor, and the PMX Editor is a tool that they use to create MMD models. Or you can go in and you can adjust and fix models from pre-existing models that other people created. You can also mix and match and do all kinds of different things, remix stuff. I'm not into doing all that, but I learned some basics on the PMX Editor in order for me to go further and make things happen with Wakaru. And when I first started, I thought I had to rig stuff using the PMX Editor. Actually, if you're not good at rigging, you don't have to have any rigging knowledge at all. Pretty much, you can get an auto rig. So you can get things auto rig for you from Blender using third-party add-ons and tools. So you don't have to worry about learning how to rig from scratch. You can get it done for you and place it onto your own customized models from third-party tools. So that's that part. So they support PMX and PMD format for MMD. They also support another file type, which is I think it's VMD or something like that. You just got to look through it and you'll see it's VMD. It says right here, VMD, PMX plus VMD. So I never used VMD. That's going to be my next challenge to tackle, to figure out how VMD works. I watched a video today that actually made it look simple. So I don't know if it's as simple as what I saw, but it was using this other tool known as Vroid that's also on Wakaru. Not Wakaru, sorry. That's also on Unity. So Vroid is on Unity and it's very similar to Wakaru, but I don't know. I don't like that one that much. I like Wakaru more because the customizations that I'm able to do is pretty profound from what I was able to do before that, which was nothing. So I literally went from nothing to something, and that's powerful when you can create something and you had nothing before that, and you can see it in motion and see it take form. That is powerful. So the steps of import, basically, let's go back over here to the import custom MMD and look at what they're offering. So they're offering these links. These links basically are references, so you can go and check the samples that are provided. So there's samples out there for Alicia and also for one of the intro characters, which, let me back this up. This is an intro character. This is not the character that you're going to control. So that's what those are for, I believe. So you can go in and right click and go check those out. click that link to redirect, and then you get to see some of the stuff. This is a site from Google Japan or Yahoo Japan, sorry about that. And this is just showing Vocaloid Promotion Video Project MMD. So they just basically showing the Miku Miku dance information, documentation, stuff like that. You really don't need this in order to perform the full project. Import. Your model must have had bones set up. So that's what I was talking about the rig. If you don't know what rigging is, basically type it into Google, type rigging, and go look it up, because it's really important to learn what it means. You don't have to learn how to rig 100%. You just look at what rigging means. So you put 3D rigging, because it's gonna come up rigging for cables, ropes, and chains and all kinds of stuff. So put 3D rigging, and then you'll learn about the basics to understand what rigging means and how, to some degree, how it works. You're not going to know exactly how to make it work yourself 100% until you go into the 3D tools to learn how to rig. I'm not at that point where I actually learned how to rig. I tried to experiment with it, and my rig obviously came out horrible, and that's why I decided to go with automated rigs. So through Blender, you have many options to create automated rigs where you don't have to worry about the rigging process. You just have to understand the basics to rigging and how you can maneuver them, how you can manipulate them, and different things like that. So once you understand that, you can move further. Definitely you can move much further with Wakaru, because it takes that basic knowledge to understand how to move past certain points that maybe you're going to find errors and things that are not going to work for you. You can troubleshoot and you can figure out why and why not something's not working. Now, it's not 100% rig reliant. It's a basic rig that you're going to need for your Wakaru character. So don't worry too much about a facial rig, because you don't need a facial rig. Just keep that in mind. No facial rig required. Now, the following morphs lists will be automatically corresponded to facial tracking. When they're talking about morphs, people are going to be confused if you never heard of anything dealing with rigs or character creation, 3D modeling. So don't get too tossed away by this morphs. What morphs is basically, it means facial expressions. So any kind of facial expressions that the 3D tooling is going to detect, you have to build those in. You literally have to build those in. So how do you build them in? Again, like I said, you don't have to worry about a face rig or facial rig. You also don't have to worry about learning how to rig. Everything can be automated. So I use automated tools through Blender in order to create the facial morphs. So that is a powerful thing as well. So now we bypass the fact that I have to learn how to rig. I also bypass the fact that I have to learn what is known as shape keys, or what do they call it? Every 3D tool is a little different. So for Blender, they call it shape keys. For other tools, they may call it blend shapes. For MMD, they call it morphs. So that's why they called it morphs here, because MMD is the import process, and they built this tool, Wakaru, for the MMD community. So this whole morph thing, once you get to understand it, is really not that hard. It's actually the most simplest thing that I learned on Blender, besides navigation. So if something is missing, it says this will not cause any errors, just not active the corresponding facial tracking. Well, obviously this page was translated from a Japanese page, I believe. So don't worry about the lack of it having proper grammar or whatever, English, It is basically telling you that if some of the morphs are missing, it won't cause any errors, and it just won't correspond to that particular facial tracking. So when you get your facial tracking working, certain morphs that are built in through this tool for Wakaru through Unity, it just won't detect it. So those actual facial morphs won't be able to be produced onto the screen. So a good example would be if you have a certain morph that is required for a smile expression, and if you don't build it in, it just won't show up when you're trying to smile with your webcam. So that's that part. MMD is corresponding name with eyes, brows, lips. If you don't understand what this is basically dealing with naming structure aka naming conventions. So the naming conventions relate to your particular morphs that you're creating. So when you see eyes, this relates to, in the PMX editor, to a category for a specific facial morph for your eyes. So you're gonna have to go into the PMX editor and you're gonna have to edit those particular morphs so they annotate correctly the naming conventions for Japanese and English. Because when you go into PMX editor, you're gonna see there's a naming convention for both, for English and for Japanese. And then you're gonna have to copy these and pretty much translate them for each morph. Each facial morph for eyes is going to be like, this is blink in Japanese. This is I forgot what these are. Each one will be some Japanese naming convention that needs to be translated to English. So you have to have those built in to correspond and reference off of each facial morph. So with the brows, these are the eyebrows. So this one would be like, I think this is up. This one over here is down, or vice versa. I don't know if this is down or up. I'm not sure, but I remember the characters, so that's how I know. But the more you play with it, you start to find all these characters. Now, talking about Google and finding characters, you can type in here MMD facial morphs. Sorry about that. My typing is dyslexic. So let's go and we put that in there, and look at this. You go right down here where it says images for MMD facial morphs, and then you click on this one, which I already found it, so that's why I know it's here. The benefits of actually doing research is powerful. So here it says MMD facial expressions chart by Xoriu, Xoriu, on DeviantArt. So this is a powerful tool. You need to go and check this out, because all of the facial expressions for Wakaru are documented here, and they also have more that are built in. So how does this work? So basically you're going to go in and you see it says eyes in blue right here. It says eyes. You're going to look at each facial expression and then try to map off of these facial expressions to build your shape keys for each of your facial expressions for your customized character. So you have to build each one in. And like I said, if you did using an automated tool through Blender for blend shapes and shape keys, you can automatically utilize that tool to create what is known as shape key mixes. So I'm going to be showing that through this whole series, and I'm going to show folks how to do that. It's really not hard. It took me some time to figure it out on Blender when I went through using other YouTube videos, tons of YouTube videos. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. And talking about YouTube, if y'all folks want to get shortcuts to it, go to my YouTube channel. And talking about YouTube, you can also go to this lady's YouTube channel. Her name is Anja the Simmer. She created a Wakaru MMD import model process for those who are into MMD. So if you're into MMD and you already created your own Miku Miku dance characters, or you want to borrow somebody's character, go and check out her video. I don't think I need to make this because she already created it. So it's going to be part of my series, and I'm going to feature her videos on this, or this particular video on it, each time, so y'all guys can check it out. She's fun. She definitely knows how to go hard at MMD, and she knows MMD much better than me. So I wanted to give her credit for that. I came up with my own process of doing it before I actually found a video, but I found a video through searching over here in the search engine, and I was able to find, you know, the fact that someone else did it. She's actually the only other person that I found on YouTube that has done the actual MMD import process for Wakaru. So definitely check her out. I'll put the link in the video's description area for her video, and it would behoove y'all folks out there, if you into this stuff, to try to put out videos so we can all collaborate and I can showcase other people's videos and we can network like that, or we can spread the love for each other like that. It's really important to do that. I try to do that on my channel. So let's go to my channel real quick. When I say I try to do that on my channel, I basically curate videos. How do you do that? You can curate videos at any moment in time you want by watching a YouTube video. You basically add it to your playlist. So I have tons of playlists. We can scroll down, and from my main page on my channel, you can find it. So right now I'm losing my voice because I'm talking a lot and I need some water. But this stuff is essential in order to perform what we can do, what she can do, Object could do, and what I can do. And many tons of 3D artists that are going to be born out of this, or the fact that they already exist and they can jump on and do it. Reason being is because there's unlimited potential in Wakaru where maybe you can actually sell your characters. You can sell them 100% to people who want to buy them, or you can lease them out, give people the opportunity to use your characters for Wakaru. And for those who basically don't know what they're doing, and maybe they don't want to know, they don't want to learn 3D modeling, and they just want to use it as a VR tuber or a VTuber or whatever. This stuff can be moved to VR as well. So here goes 3D modeling on my channel, and here goes Blender. So you just go to my channel, FPC Virtual, and check out Blender. Check out that. I highly recommend for y'all folks to try this out. The reason being is because it's not about me. This has nothing to do with me. I'm not in this. Majority of all these, I'm not even in it. I have no videos in it. So this is all the tools that I use. Actually, look at this. I got one, so I lied. My bad. I got one that's part of Blender. Face rig as a Wakaru webcam. All right, my bad. I apologize for that. But reason why I'm apologizing is because I stated that. So I didn't have to state that. But if you look, a vast majority of these videos, almost all of the videos, are other people. Why are they on my channel? Because that's what YouTube is really all about. People don't realize it, but it's each one teach one. We should be helping each other. There's tons of people out there that are helping other people to learn things that they probably never would have known if someone else didn't create a video about it. So that's how I look at YouTube. I look at YouTube as a learning place, more of a learning process, an experience where we can help each other around the planet, even if we don't communicate with each other, even if we don't know each other. You can find tons of stuff. That's why YouTube is powerful. It is powerful beyond measure. That's how I see it. So if y'all folks want to go back in time through my learning process, this is how you do it. Just go back video after video, look at different videos, try to figure out certain things. So whatever I talked about, shape keys, look at this, Blender 3D, corrective shape keys in Blender, how to correctly animate a bending arm, stuff like that, creating an advanced face rig, mirroring shape keys. All this stuff is all here. So it's not lost, is not something that you can't find. You can find it. It's all here. I tied it into one playlist. So I just wanted to get that out there to y'all folks. YouTube is not about me, it's about us. Let's do this together. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Now back to Wakaru. We got that out of the way. So now we're back to Wakaru and we're trying to puzzle in other pieces. So now you understand, hopefully you understand a little bit about how to figure out shape keys. You can go into Blender and start to learn. Once you understand how to figure out shape keys, now that will drive you back to this page where it says MMD is corresponding name with yada yada yada. You can also learn shape keys by typing in MMD morphs on YouTube. So go in here, type in MMD morphs. As soon as you do that, a whole host of things pop up and you'll start to understand a little bit about the whole shape key process on MMD. It's very extensive when it comes to a lot of these videos because some people go very hard. And actually, I think this guy is really good. Trev X. Some people out here on this YouTube thing, man, they go extensive. Some of them come from the Maya community, and if you're coming from the Maya community, 9 times out of 10, that means that you're a 3D artist / graphic designer, and you know much more higher level stuff than the average person. So the average person is gonna go to your videos and they're gonna be like, whoa, what the hell is that? But you might backstep a little bit when you first start, because if you're not professed in this knowledge base of 3D, it's going to take you back a little bit by watching people's videos. But after a while, you're going to absorb that information. And definitely if you learn Blender, the basics to Blender, then you can test it out. And that's how it works, you know. That's how I see it working for me. It's really working for me, and it's teaching me a lot of stuff. So here you go. You got tons of stuff about the facial morphs. Some of them may not be about facial morphs, so you might have to bypass some. But you end up tending to find jewels in a lot of it as well. One of the things that I learned a lot about YouTube is that the comment section is powerful as well. You can go into the YouTube comment section. Sometimes you find a lot of garbage and you find tons of people like trolling and spamming and doing all kinds of garbage. But YouTube is doing much better recently with that, and they're handling that and they're getting rid of a lot of it. So when you go into the comments, 9 times out of 10, you're going to find some of the top comments to be really awesome. And I found a lot of tools that way. I found tools, I found tons of stuff that helped me on YouTube and helped me outside of YouTube to learn 3D. Because when you're going through these tutorial videos, you're going to get less garbage because it's all about learning. You're not watching some sort of an entertainment video 100%. It's not about entertainment. It's about teaching you something. So when you go through these actual comment sections, you're finding people who are knowledgeable about stuff 9 times out of 10 that are referencing off of things or helping the actual creator a little bit more to build their knowledge or to learn from that person. So you're getting information back and forth from different people. And that is why it's so powerful, because it's more minds than one. It's multiple minds working together in unison to build something. So that's how it works with that part, the whole comment section on YouTube. And I'm still live. I'm still working. This is good. Just checking my status on my live stream. I'm going to end this session soon, but I just wanted y'all folks to gear in and to learn that basic stuff in order to get the gist of what I'm going to do next, which is to jump into Blender. I'm going to go hardcore with Blender, even though I'm not the best at it, like I said. And I'm going to try to break down some of this stuff so you can understand how easy it really is to move past the point of being discouraged, which I was discouraged on Blender for like 5 years. That's the truth. So it took me about 2 or 3 days to get discouraged with Blender. Excuse me. And then I just dropped it. I dropped it like a bag of bricks. Let me get some water real quick and I'll be right back. I'm doing this live, so it's killing my throat. Now, I'll explain this last part and then I'm going to end this session, and I'll try to start another session tomorrow. If you're just tuning in, this is MMD's import process for Wakaru. So basically, I tried to explain and break down a lot of things, but I added some other stuff to it because some people on YouTube, they may have this preconceived notion about the YouTuber, the creator behind it, and what they think about certain things about the creator. So I'm trying to knock out a lot of those processes all in the same process of creating this YouTube live stream, so it can help more people than one, because there's tons of people around the planet that try to figure out things, try to puzzle things together, but they get intimidated, they get discouraged. It also depends on who's teaching them and what they're teaching them. So I just wanted to help y'all folks to go a little bit further if you're having those issues like I had, where I was discouraged. Even when I was watching YouTube videos, some people were so far past my mentality at that point, so far past my knowledge level, that I couldn't learn from them. And some people, they act, they probably act obnoxious or arrogant. I don't know if I said the term properly, but they act like that because they have this higher level of knowledge than another person, and they tend to shunt a lot of people away from them. So I try to crush those things mentally while I'm putting up these live streams or whatever videos that I could, if I can actually put it up, because my actual computer freezes and crashes tons of times, so I need to upgrade, but it's all good. So right here it says the example model of this guild. Basically, this is the Alicia model. So if you go to this link, let's right click it. All it does, let's click this link after redirecting it. All it does is show you the model. So you don't need this page at all. This is just a reference. It also is part of the legal terms for this model. So I believe whoever created this Wakaru tool, they're using this model from other more like 3D artists slash 2D artists. So they use this page to give them credit. So you got to do more of like a, I guess a translation of the page for you to figure that out. But I figured it out, that part. I don't believe they own the model. This is more of a third-party model. So that's why they have the legal terms per se built into the Wakaru tool that references this model, and you can't use the model for commercial purposes. You can basically just use it to, you know, do stuff on a personal level, personal scale, but you can't use it for monetization purposes. So if you're trying to do like a live stream or whatever, and you're trying to use Wakaru, don't use it to try to monetize if you're not doing a fair use. If you're not using it in a fair use manner, I don't recommend for you to use it for commercial purposes. That's why I'm doing this whole entire, you know, series, so folks can bypass that by creating their own models. And that's a limitation of Wakaru the way it's set up right now. But like I said, it's designed for you to actually build models into it. That's why they give you the import process. So that's the other reason why they put that out there. And my throat is still kind of scratchy, but let's try to figure this last part out so that y'all folks can get past that part. All right, it says using libraries are MMD for mecanim and Unity Official Asset Bundle Manager. What that means is basically this is required, and the Unity tool is required. So you got to go and get the MMD for mecanim. But what is the MMD for mecanim? That's a good question. If you want to find out, let's go back to YouTube. Refer back to YouTube. When in doubt, refer back, right? Because that's how I figured out everything. It just took some time. Started researching, digging. When you go and you find out what this is, you start to realize that it pertains back to Unity. Unity has this tool known as mecanim. And mecanim is more of a animation control type of tool. So it allows you and affords you tools built into Unity to more like detect any animations that you try to import into it. So whatever you import as a 3D model that has an FBX file or some sort of an animatable file that it can detect, it will actually give you the ability to detect it, pull it up. You can manipulate a lot of the stuff. You can check it. You can restructure the bones so that the bones are formatted in the alignment and /T pose, the way that Unity accepts it and uses it. You know, you can do all that kind of stuff. Mecanim has much more power than meets the eye, but definitely research on that. You can type in mecanim Unity if you want to find that out. So MMD for mecanim is actually, I believe it's tools that was created by someone maybe in Japan. Could have been from Japan. I'm not sure, because when you go to this page, it says stereoarts.jp. That's a Japanese page. So if you go to that page, most of it looks like it's in Japanese language. Or I said Japan, sorry about that. But it's in Japanese language characters, which a lot of this stuff is. All you got to do is scroll down where it says MMD4 mecanim beta, and you find this link right here that says MMD4 mecanim _ beta whatever zip. So you click on that, and that's the link to get the mecanim beta. So this is the actual link for a zip file that you need. So you need to get this zip file on your computer, and then once you get up Unity, you have to package this in through Unity. But before you do all of that, it has a certain import process that you should follow. But make sure you get this zip file on your computer and have it set somewhere on your computer where you know you can reference it and you can pull it back up. So that's that part where it says mecanim. So you got to get that file. If you don't get the file, then you're not going to be able to move forward, because this is one of the keys. This is the most important part of the import process for Unity, because once you get this file in, the file type that you're going to bring in to actual, say your file folders. So whatever file folder and file types you're going to bring from your 3D models is going to be in the PMX file type. So it needs to be in a PMX file type. That's a requirement for Wakaru as well. So that's going to come from the PMX Editor. If you're on Blender, you're going to have add-ons to convert to the PMX Editor from FBX or whatever other file type, animation file types you have for your rig. So your character is going to be rigged, maybe auto-rigged or rigged already. I got a phone call, but basically get that on your computer and we'll move forward in the next video. I'm going to end this session. Joy, love, and peace to all. Mike Pugh signing off. Feel free to hit the thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe if you like this actual live stream series that's going on. It's pretty extensive because it took me about 3 months to build the whole entire process, but I'm trying to break down every element so y'all folks who are brand new to it or maybe profess with 3D to some degree, you can understand it and you can build it up. And I'll see you next time. Oh, feel free to hit the bell icon as well if you want to see my latest. Peace.